What's happening, Bulls? Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Let's dive into some market stuff. There's been a good couple of weeks of trading, especially for me. I've had some of the best trading of the year personally. I've been absolutely killing it. We'll talk recent trades. Brett and BASENJI, if you're sick of hearing about it, it's because you didn't get involved. That's fine. There's some very valuable lessons to be learned from these trades that we talked. The step-by-step, basically what's happened in the lead up and during my trading, so you can learn from these lessons that I've made. So when obviously you do things wrong, then don't do that. When you do things right, it's good to study it and take notes on what went right and why it went right, and then recreate it. We'll talk time frames. A lot of trades have been talked about on larger time frames, ones that you really have to be patient for. Got to understand the difference. Daily chart, 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, short term, medium term, long term time frames. They are very different things. Near GRT and ENS, we talked about them recently on daily long-term time frames. ETF, how it's changing the market. People are acting like this is the old market. People are getting really nervous a lot of the time, but now you can see huge inflows coming in. Things are actually different. BBWP, volatility. Volatility is direction neutral. It is probably my favorite way of indicating a market. You can see when things are happening, and you can talk time frames. So BBWP volatility is connected to time frames. You can see when things are going to happen. You don't have to wait. Opportunity cost and waiting is one of the most crippling pain in the a-holes that you can give yourself. And then finding altcoins on CoinGecko, just for the basics. We'll move over to the members channel after this, and I'll talk some high quality super secret alpha shit that you might want to know, but I'll see you there. I'm sure you're a Blockchain Bull member if you're watching this. Anyway, let's do it. Right, let's start with the Brett trade, because I know a lot of people in the group didn't end up getting on this, and there's a lot of things that are really important for you to learn. This is a great example of a trade, because this is me implementing what I've learned over the last 7 years, and also from a lot of books that I've read, a lot of large investors, big names, big hedge fund managers, George Soros, Ray Dalio, people like that, where they have talked about different ways of how they've implemented when they're trading, things like doubling down, things like letting your winners win, and things like having conviction. So I want to talk about this. If you are upset that you didn't jump on this trade when we posted it, just get over it. You will learn how to recreate this, and it'll do you a lot more favors if you listen. So first of all, it's not showing up where I bought and sold down here, but you know, long story short, I don't really want to do long story short. I want to show you that on this trade, we posted a video. I've showed it countless times where we bought here. This is a daily chart. One candle equals 1 day. We wrote it down for a week. We made another video talking about how, you know, the conviction's still high. I personally should have bought more. I had capital tied up elsewhere. I wasn't ready for adding extra to the position. It's probably a good thing that I didn't really. But once I seen this engulfing candle, I thought, fuck, I should have. But that's fine. It's all sweet. Anyways, we held it up. And what I did was I had this one here. So entry 3 cents, 39 cents, whatever, blah, blah. A little bit of source. You know that I don't like using more than 2.5x leverage on altcoins, especially the highest volatility things in the world. And then we got 326% on that. So that was quite a lot of money for me. And then what I did then was, which was about here, 9, I think it said 9. Yeah, 9, sold at 9.1, sold at 9.1 here. Which was here. And then what happened was I was talking to people. I'm going to do a breakdown of this because this is a good case study. I was talking to people. The reason why I took profit here was the funding rate went nuts. See how the funding rate up here, it says 0.01. That means it's relatively even between shorters and longers, but the funding rate was getting to like 0.1, and there's pretty much 10 times more people wanting to long than short. I was like, shit, it's getting very dicey here. And then I was like, it needs a flush out, leverage flush out. And that's what this was. This was a massive leverage flush out, huge liquidations. There was a couple of $100,000 worth of people got liquidated here. I've seen that. And then after that, thinking more, you just see it's just reclaim this line. See this line here? It's just a basic, simple trend line. Doesn't matter trying to line anything up. The price just came back up, took all those money out of people, liquidated the greed, and then just comes back up, chugging on as usual. After this, I went and put all my profits back in here, plus I doubled down. So what I did here basically is I bet on my winner with conviction. I doubled down on something that was proving me right. So I'm not talking about people that are sure about something and they have a thesis and then it just keeps going lower and then they double down here, because that's not proving you right. That's proving you wrong as it's going down. You think it's going up. I'm not double downing here. I was double downing here. So that's why I'm not fussed about double downing down here, because even though this was a little bit different, as I've explained, this was like a market wide sort of sell off. Wasn't as phased by it, but here it's proving me right. Hate messing up the chart like this. It's proving me right by flushing everyone out as expected. I sold here, flushed everyone out as expected with the high funding rate, reclaimed, and I doubled down hard. And then as you can see here, I've just closed my position for another 164% gain basically on that. I end up selling a little bit lower. I screenshotted this a little bit earlier, but I got the receipts. That's the S right there. We literally sold on that candle. And the reason why I sold here, because it was still green candling, right, is because look at this. It's going sideways, trending diagonally. And then at the end of a trend, there's typically a parabola. So like a parabolic rise, and it just hockey sticks up. That's unsustainable. Obviously seen a lot of selling with this long wick. You get long wick reversals. And then we called it. We basically called this potentially temporary top. Now I do think Brett may potentially have more. That's the wrong one. I do think Brett may potentially have more in it. But maybe just 100%. I'm not sure. The only reason for this is obviously the basis was because it's on base chain, so it could have a lot more in it. But I just thought that easily Brett could be up with the Dog with Hat and Floki, which are sitting at about 2.8 billion market caps. Brett's being at about half of that at 1.6. So I could easily see that sitting with these. That's another maybe 80 or 100%. But is what it is. The other thing that I've been trading, I'll talk about in a second. I'll just cut over to that, but just back to this, just so you can see sort of the important thing is when something is proving you right. So you have an idea, you have an idea, and then it proves you right. So instead of taking profit after it's proven me right, which is what most people do, like 90-something% of people do, they'll be proven right and then they'll take profit and panic. And because the most emotionally painful thing for people to do is have something up and be winning, and then it turns around and then turns into a loss. That's like statistically speaking, the most painful thing for a trader to go through is turning a win into a loss. Everybody gets scared, but I'm telling you to do the opposite of what the majority does. And when something's proving you right, really milk the fuck out of that Jersey cow. I'll flick over to something else. I'll show you some more recent trade stuff. Now we'll just quickly touch on this BASENJI trade. I don't think many people followed me because it was a little bit harder to get involved. I just wanted to talk about, I hold the true belief that if you cannot work out how to buy a coin yourself on Uniswap, you should not hold it. The decentralized blockchain space can be scary and merciless on any mistakes. There is no customer support if you stuff it up or you don't know what you're doing. You need to do your own research. You need to work it out, because if you don't know what you're holding, then you've got no conviction and you're scared and you're just waiting for somebody to post something and basically steer the ship for you. That's like somebody giving you a fish, not teaching you how to fish. If my thesis is correct, BASENJI will be listed on major exchanges, eventually making it far more accessible. I do still believe this. I just want to talk about where we were at for the price of BASENJI at the time. So 0.015. Now, if I flick over to BASENJI here, that's like a 5x basically since then. So, I mean, fuck. Like that's a lot of wins, like I'm saying. So we've had a lot of good wins, and this is still only a $68 million market cap. I can see this thing going far higher also. Moving on though, we will talk about this more another time. Now, a couple of important lessons to pass on about this Brett coin and just meme coins in general is that you do not want to be stuck holding the bag. These things are literally nothing, and they will go down. They don't give a shit about you, and I'm talking about the people that created it, the developers. They just made this coin and they're printing millions out of thin air. People are buying them. It's basically a Ponzi scheme of complete shit. It's dog shit, but it's still better than the fiat currency system. I'll leave it at that. Also, something I wanted to say is after I've had a big trade like this, after I have done well, 360% on a decent size, by the way, and then 160% or whatever it was on that size again, on it when I doubled down, I need to chill out now. I need to relax a little bit, just gather my thoughts. I've made a larger amount of money for myself this year on just this one string of trades, right? So like a big, even when I don't feel anything emotionally, especially like compared to how I used to feel anything, like very desensitized to it all now, there's a subconscious that lives inside of me, and it is good after you've had a big win or a big loss to calm down and just give yourself a little bit of time in between trades to recess and reset. What I also wanted to show you is that my brother and I have been trading the absolute shit out of Bitcoin. So this doesn't stop. I'm doing altcoins, but I'm also just trading the absolute shit out of Bitcoin. So the members know what I'm doing is waiting for low volatility, and then I'm trading it on that. For some reason, this only shows, it's not showing all my buys and sells, like the full history of it. As you can see here, this is just some examples. Like I'm buying here. I set buy orders, buy, start selling, and recently just set some more buy orders, buy. I've been trading the shit out of this all along. I'll just show you what it looks like on the phone. If you can see that, there's a hell of a lot more going on that one, which is what's happened in the past. So we're successfully trading the absolute living shit out of Bitcoin at the same time. That's what I like to do personally, and then altcoins are sort of on the side. Now let's talk about some shit that I've been wrong about, which always happens, but also is up for interpretation as well. So we will meld this into talking about time frames, but over the past, I showed you some coins that look like they had the most strength. This is ones that are above the moving average or were above the moving averages. This is the 200-day simple moving average, the most famous moving average there is, and the 100 simple moving average, which is the yellow one. And we had a bit of chicken scratch from the last time we talked about it. So what I showed you those other days was a daily chart. So one candle equals 1 day. And the thing is with daily charts, as you can see, an uptrend, if there's an uptrend, for example, you see in a high, a low, and a higher high. So that's just basically 3 pivots. So high, low, higher, high. This took from December all the way to the end, or end of November to the end of March. So December, January, February, like 4 months just for 3 pivots. Okay. Takes a long time for something on a daily chart to play out. A long time. 4 months I'm talking. If I made a video 1 week ago, we still might have 11 weeks to go before we make our decision on whether or not it was a good video. If I zoom in on something like near here, let's go to the 1 hour chart, something that's deemed as just at the cusp of being short term and medium term. Now, what do we see here? When this loads, what do we see here? We see similar shit, right? We had a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high. That was 4 pivot points from the 12th of May to the 17th of May. So 4 pivot points in 5 days. So it had an extra pivot point more than what we just showed you on the daily chart, but it happened in 5 days. This is the thing. It all depends on the time frame. It all depends. About to cough here. Please excuse. It all depends on the time frame. It all depends on what you're trading, whether you're trading short term, medium term, long term. Like if I'm showing you strength on the daily chart, then we're going to have to wait for 4 months to see whether I was right about that. At least, at least it's zoomed out. These are things for people to be like, oh, hey, this coin looks strong. This coin looks strong on a daily chart. Like, who knows? Like, see, this is a ascending triangle. They've got about a 68% chance of breaking the upside. Clearly, it hasn't. But what is it doing now? This is back on the daily chart for near. What is it doing now? It's just ranging. It's just ranging. So you just like, I'm just pulling ranges here. As you can see, it actually be easy for you to see it in a box. Bear with me right now. Like I don't click on these every day, still can't find them. It's just coming into a range. See this? Range. That's a previous range right there. See this? It goes bong, 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 bong. Up, bang, 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 breaks through into this other range, hits top, hits the bottom, hits the top, potentially hits the bottom. You don't know, this is going to be looking for a higher low now. So we'll be looking for a high, a low, a high, maybe a higher low. Like this thing could take another, like we're talking maybe July, August. We're talking large time frames. Okay, so large time frames, short time frames. If you want something that you're going to look at tomorrow or next week and you're up, then don't look at things on a 1 day time frame. If you want to set and forget, or you find waiting a couple months and you want some bigger moves, the bigger time frames have bigger moves. If you want something that's just going to be, you're going to flick on next week and it's green, but it's not going to be green by much, then you know what I mean. We talked about ENS, so we're going to zoom out again, just talk about these trades and where they're at. From those videos. I mean, this is back in this range. We talked about being in this range here. So as well, it's like a big price action, big square, and then you can section it out. So it's just like not really a big deal when it comes to these coins, because if you're talking about it on a long-term time frame, realistically, it's up a lot. It's up a lot, and it looks strong. Could be accumulation, could be distribution. That's the bet that you got to make. But it's up in this top end of the top side of this range here. There's the bottom side, so it's just putting a low. So again, 1 day chart, high, low, busts it up. Top side of the range, puts in a massive low, comes back up, reclaims top side of the range. Very bullish. Most likely try and put in a higher low here or something like this. But again, look where my cursor is. This is all the way down in August, September. These are large trades. GRT probably be something similar. All right, obviously these herp and derp lines didn't play out. They're not playing out. Bitcoin's not really playing ball either. That was one of the bits of context. But at the same time, where please excuse all this. Here we go. I'll just like, we've got a high, we've got a low. So it didn't make a higher high. But now you got to see whether or not it's going to make a higher low or a lower low. If it makes a lower low, it's downtrending, and then we've got a channel like that, which is potentially what happens. So you got to let the price make its mind. This is on GRT. You got to let the price make up whether it makes it a low, wants to make a higher low and continue uptrending, or makes it a lower low, make a channel, and then you've got a channel. So shit like that, man. It's just large. Just whenever we're talking about an altcoin or you're looking at an altcoin, make sure you work out whether or not you're looking at something zoomed in or zoomed out. You're looking at something long term. What is your time frame? Okay, so I might be like, I'm entering a trade. I want it to be a quick trade. I'm just trading. That's why I was talking about trading the 30-minute Bitcoin chart. I trade a 30-minute Bitcoin chart, and because I know that in 1 or 2 days, on average, 1 or 2 days, the trade's going to be over. 30-minute chart, 1 or 2 days. In this, it's like fucking, well, I mean, if somebody bought down here in October and they wanted to sell here, that's another 4 or 5 months. And who knows if they would have sold. So look at always look at the time frame, and look at what sort of time frame that you have or you want. If you're happy just sitting on something and making some big gains, or you want to make some quick little green, muck around, stay active, and trade yourself out of trade yourself out of all your money. That's up to you. But we'll move on from these coins. But just remember, the time frames are very important. Now, this is just a quick look at our main channel, the members channel, but we're posting a lot of things. Obviously, the video about Brett and BASENJI, Steezy with the VWAP updates, absolute gold, on-chain metrics, all the good shit. But what you see a lot here is ETF inflows, 488 million, 100 million. What was it yesterday? 200 million. These inflows are massive. And the reason why we're tracking these huge inflows is because these inflows weren't here before the ETFs. Like, they were on chain. We can see buying and selling the crypto move around. But this is new money. This is mostly new money, because if people weren't buying it already, why would they buy the ETFs? You know what I mean? This is for people that need that didn't have access for whatever reason, whether it was compliance, regulations, they were uncertain themselves, didn't want to hold the Bitcoin themselves, didn't trust it, too much money, weren't allowed to, blah, 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 blah. This is new money coming in. And like I've said before, before the halving, there was 900 Bitcoin coming into circulation every day. Let's pull this up. This is me making that. Ready? Just watch this real quick about the ETFs. Okay, ready? Post halving Bitcoin amount per day. Look at this shit. 450 now. So there's 450 Bitcoin coming into circulation per day right now. Sorry, throats a bit. BTC to USD, 450. All right, so what's this? Ready? 1, 2, 3, $31 million worth of Bitcoin coming into circulation per day. $31 million worth of new Bitcoin. You're assuming, let's just assume the miners are selling what they're mining. 31 million coming in, 200 million going out in the ETF alone. 488 million coming out in the ETF alone. Everyone's focusing on the halving. We've been saying this whole fucking time. Open your fucking eyes. That halving means jack shit. It helps. It's gone from $60 million worth of Bitcoin coming into circulation per day to 30 million worth of Bitcoin coming in every day. But bruh, let's address the elephant in the room. 488 of it is leaving. Psycho. Absolutely. Anyways, let's move on to the next thing that we were talking about. I just want to keep this one short here, but after low volatility, a volatility contraction, especially a large one that blew bars, it is mathematically inevitable that there will be a large expansion either direction. We are watching it very closely. When the price blew bars here, it's already trending on this shit, red bar. It's trending, it's maxing out. Typically after the second set of red bars, it ranges on average, and it's done it right there. As you can see here, and then did it again here. That was a range. But anyways, that's what we're talking about. I'm talking about these blue bars on the daily chart. This is a large volatility expansion about to happen. We got to watch it, especially right now, because this is where it blue barred. This could be a head fake. So grabbing liquidity from the top side and crashing down. We're expecting a large move, but we've got to watch where these candles start closing. If this starts closing down below the range here, below where the contraction point was, like down here, this is most likely a head fake, and we're most likely going to see low 60s again, range lows. But if these green candles can engulf and continue up, we've got a pretty big move on our hands, over 10% on average, maybe even 20 from a blue bar on the daily chart. Let's move on. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about finding coins on CoinGecko. If you're just a beginner, novice, or you just want to take it easy and look for some coins yourself. See these ones that say trending, these ones that say largest gainers. Oh look, there's BASENJI. We're talking CoinGecko. You can do CoinGecko or coinmarketcap.com. And you can come to this website. There's also an app. It's like the ladder. It's like a football ladder for crypto. Let me take the drink. And then what we're looking for here is trending and categories. A lot of this will just have shit, but you want to look for ones that are strong, like we always talk about. We want to look for ones that have strength, like Brett, beer coin, shit like this. Not ones like this, but you want to look at ones that are pulling back and uptrending. Like what's this TARS protocol? You can just, without buying TradingView or having any charting software, if we're looking at something, just look at this, right? Just look at this for a second, okay? It's up, it's high, everybody's scared of buying it. High, I mean, you can wait for a pullback, but what I'm getting at here is the fact that everybody thought it was high here, and then look what happened. It went to here. Everyone thought it was high here, and then look what happened. It went here. And it's just like, even if you zoom out on Bitcoin, for an example, if you zoom out on Bitcoin, we've got some old long-term accumulation stuff, maybe a different chart. It's like everybody thought it was high here, and then it's an uptrend. So, you know, you end up being happy that you bought back on this high. When it'll come here, you can wait for a pullback, but it's uptrending. You just assume that the trend will continue. So find something that's uptrending, and shit, you might be the game that you're playing is whether or not you're the unluckiest person over the last, you know, however long it's been uptrending. It could have been up, say we pick a coin that's been uptrending for fucking, like, let's look at Pepe, for example, okay? Pepe has been heavily uptrending since late Feb. So every single day since late February and all the way until June the 4th or whatever, Pepe has made new prices. So you could have bought Pepe anywhere between late Feb to June or May 29th or whatever, right at the top here, any time in there, and you would have made gains. So it's just like the chances of that, there was days and days and days and days and days. So look for things that are doing well. All right. Look for things that are doing well, and then look for things that are doing well and that you think have more well to do. So buy high, sell high. You don't necessarily have to buy the tippy tops of everything. I'm happy for a pullback. I would prefer a pullback. But what I'm getting at is don't try and time bottoms, man. Don't try and time bottoms. You'll either fail and it will continue downtrending, or you'll be stuck waiting for the thing to bottom out for 4 months and you miss out on all the other good trades because your money's tied up in that shit. Done. I'm going to leave it at that. Very, very, very high gravity in this. I'm nearly getting pulled through the bottom of my seat saying that. There's a lot of gravity in those words. So just take that on your stride. We're here to help. If you want to talk more, I'll see you in the Blockchain Bulls chat. The links are around in the bio and whatnot. And if you want extra, then we'll see you on the members. All money goes back into the group. We are expanding and we are 100% not for profit at the moment anyway. I'm making enough money on these fucking trades. I don't need the membership money. It's just going all back in. We're trying to help. This is the life purpose, is to help people understand crypto and not lose the money to those bloody hedge funds in Wall Street. So take it easy. I'll leave you with that. I'll see you on the next video happily.